Yo guys, today we're gonna talk about Mahiru. If you've seen some of my other videos talking about her, you know I really like her character. She's one of my favorites, but what you may not know is that I once had the complete opposite opinion. I used to hate Mahiru and thought she was one of the worst characters in the series. What's funny is, there was a video made by Wince Media going over why they thought Mahiru was the worst character, and I realized a lot of the points brought up were the same reasons why I hated her back then. I'll link the video down below, it's a good watch, but why is there such a big difference? Why did I hate her so much back then, but love her now? So first let's talk about the perspective of why some people despise the character, and why I did as well. A lot of it is already covered on Wince's video, so it's gonna feel like a repeat of that, but stick with me for a bit. Mahiru made it so Hiyoko did not face consequences for her actions. She's bossy and incredibly annoying. Apart from that, she's just very normal and has nothing good about her. She's very boring, which is why I predicted she would die in chapter 2, and look at that, that's what happened. Now initially, Hiyoko's my least favorite DR2 character, and I know that for a fact, because I vividly remember celebrating during her death scene. However, over time, a lot of that hate transferred over to Mahiru, as she's a cause for why Hiyoko stays the way she is, and I just found her getting increasingly more annoying by herself as well. As you can see, at one point my thoughts were very similar to Wince Media's. So what happened? Why did my opinion change so drastically? And you know what, that's a good question. It's not something that's very easy to explain, but I'll try. Here's how Mahiru went from being one of my least favorites to one of my favorites. First is the point of how Mahiru jumps to Hiyoko's defense. I used to see this as a bad part of Mahiru's character, but I don't see it that way anymore. I like how she has different reactions to different characters. I also think Mahiru is sometimes the best character in some of these situations. Take Hiyoko bullying Mikan as an example. When Hiyoko bullies Mikan, Mahiru is one of the only characters that has some type of reaction, because even if Mahiru doesn't stop Hiyoko's behavior, at least she's observing the situation and trying to do something to bring peace. What is everyone else doing? Literally, it feels like no one cares about the situation at all. They'll show Hiyoko bullying Mikan and then they'll show someone else discussing an entirely different situation. The only other character I remember showing some kind of concern for the Hiyoko-Mikan situation was Peko, and that was a one-time thing only. There may have been more characters who reacted to the bullying, but honestly, it must have been once or at most twice, because I can't remember anyone else who did. In regards to Hiyoko's actions, I think Mahiru is the best character because she's the one who reacts to it the most, and her reactions make sense with what we know of her character. The second point is about how I used to think she was a really annoying character. Now here are 3 characters that used to make me really angry. Do you see a pattern? Yeah, that's right. I didn't like the confrontational hypocritical types. They pissed me off with their early accusations that were based off emotional instinct, and their anger while confidently stating what they think happened just made me so mad. Suffice to say, in Mahiru's case, her hypocrisy and rash accusations made me annoyed very quickly. Apart from this part of her character that stood out to me, I found her very boring otherwise. So the one part of her character that stood out to me was negative, while the rest was nothing. However, I've come around to liking these confrontational type of characters. Well, at least Aoi and Mahiru. I can't say much about Kaito yet. While I used to find these characters annoying, I now view their confrontational attitude to be a benefit to the game. I genuinely think it's more fun when they are hypocrites and make rash accusations. The rash accusations add more chaos to the trials and get multiple characters involved. The same thing can be said with the hypocrisy and how it leads to interesting situations, such as the story in chapter 2. I think story-wise, chapter 2 is the best in DR2, and that's because of the big fight and ideologies of Fuyuhiko and Mahiru. I mean, no situation can describe some of Mahiru's actions better than this scenario. Sato commits a crime and Mahiru tries to hide it. Fuyuhiko commits a crime and Mahiru says that he has no right to judge others for their crimes. Some people will hate her for this, and some people won't care or even like this. Now for the people who hate her for this, they can take it in one of 2 ways. Either they won't like it because of their own morals, or they won't like it because they think her negative qualities don't make the game any better. Or, they hate what she did, but thinks of this as something that improved the game. Like, some people can hate what she did, but end up liking her character more. Think of any of the antagonists. The antagonists are easily some of the most popular characters in the series. However, the antagonists do some really bad things, but since those bad things make the game more fun, people end up liking them. The same thing applies to any other character. If Mahiru's actions make you angry, do you think Mahiru's actions make the game better or worse? That's another question that will make people's opinions on her differ quite a bit. If you do want to see more examples of Mahiru's hypocrisy, I suggest you watch this video made by Flintosta. It's very short and it only gives one example, but it's really well edited and really funny, so I suggest that you watch it even if you don't care about seeing another example. The last thing I want to talk about is prominence. Mahiru is a very central character in the early portion of DR2. She has so much screen time that delves into different parts of her character. I mean, look no further than case 1. She's easily one of the most scared people upon discovering the body. She gets into many arguments in the trial. She fights a lot with Fuyuhiko specifically, and that sets up chapter 2 very well. In other parts of the game, she also shows her caring side. Not only with helping out Hiyoko, but even things like bringing food to Nagito. As I said before, back in the day I knew Mahiru would die in chapter 2 because she was boring. But now I don't think that at all. Now I think she died in chapter 2 because she has a lot of screen time with many distinct moments. Free time is another aspect that I've seen play a great influence on how people perceive this character. For some people, the free times can completely turn Mahiru around from one of the worst to one of the best. For others, it can improve her character a little. Some people like me don't think it does anything, and some people like Wince actually thinks it makes her worse. Again, FDEs are very subjective, but I've seen a lot of people say FDEs are a highlight for Mahiru's character. So there's a lot of factors that can influence anyone's opinion on Mahiru, so I hope you guys can see how someone can either hate or love Mahiru. As someone who has been on both sides of the spectrum, it's easy to see why the opinions on her are very divided. So yeah, that's about it. I didn't realize how much of this was said in other videos I already made. I was wondering if I should even continue with making this video, but I guess if people didn't watch any of the previous videos, it would be fine for them to watch this. So that's why I ended up making the video, even if I was a bit hesitant as I was making it. But yeah, that concludes this video on Mahiru. Comment down what you guys think about the character, and yeah, goodbye.